All right, let's go out to Yorktown, Virginia, and talk to the great and wonderful Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly, what's happening?
Hey, Dr. John. Thank you so much for taking my call.
No, you bet. Thanks for hopping on in here. What's up?
So I've got a couple of questions. This is something I've been wrestling with for a while. I've been dating someone for just under 2 years. He is a widower. He's got 3 kids, but they're grown and out of the house. I'm divorced. I have 3 kids, and they're still home and in the house. So initially we met. I'm pretty active. I run. I do CrossFit. I love food, but I like, healthy food. We're running into issues at this point where he's in poor health. He's got diabetes. He's had triple bypass surgery and continues to eat fast food most days for 2 or 3 of his meals. And I've addressed it. I'm trying to be open and honest and, hey, this is a concern for me. This is kind of a big deal. And I'm at the point where I'm going, I don't want to watch you kill yourself, slowly.
Right.
And I don't know, when the time is to say, you know what, this is just not right, that we need, we're both nice folks. Nobody's done anything wrong, but clearly our lifestyles are not the same or close enough. I'm invited him to work out with me. I've invited him hey, let's just go for walks. Let's start somewhere. It doesn't have to be, super intense. I just need you to take an active role in your wellness.
Kimberly, you're already there.
Yeah.
It usually takes me hours of a conversation with somebody before they'll say the thing that you just said. Nobody's bad. I'm not going to sit here and watch you die.
And I said those words to him for the first time this weekend. I said, I'm afraid you're going to die. And then what? And for the past year, I've kind of been gently bringing it up.
And you've heard me say this 1,000 times, and I know I'll say it 10,000 times before my show is over. If behavior is a language, what is he telling you?
He's not willing to.
I don't care. Right. I don't care. Or I do care, but the work it would take to change isn't worth it. Or deep, deep down, when my wife died, I wanted to rebuild my life and do something new, and I just am unwilling to make that turn. And you are a very comfortable, low-level hospice nurse at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a maternal presence, if you will. Don't eat that. Move over here. Don't watch that. Will you come over here? Let's go do this.
And that is how it feels like I'm the driving force. He's like, we'll do whatever you want to do.
That's right. He's cashed out. That's a voice of a man who is cashed out.
And I think he sees it as, I'm spoiling you. I'm being easygoing and letting you, you get to call the shots. Where do we want to get, go to dinner? Well, you pick.
Well, and the more I'm digging into, I've kind of been on a bender lately when it comes to old school psychological research, particularly around feminine and masculine. I'm just fascinated by how we've got to where we have, how we're gotten here. And one thing that continues to come up over and over and over again that is so profound to me is, and my wife and I have talked about it, it's requiring a massive shift inside of me. I was raised that every world problem is mine. I caused it. I'm the problem. I need to shut my mouth and do whatever she says in my life. Whoever that she is, professor, boss, wife. My job is to say, I don't care, whatever you want, dear. And what continues to come up is that puts you in a role that you don't want to be in. Fair?
Very fair.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that my wife would feel more comfortable in a feminine energy by saying, hey, I want to go have steak tonight. What do you think about that? Because now I've put it on the table. And she can say, I really don't feel like eating steak. Let's go do this. That's great. That's cool. That's very different than, I don't care, whatever you want. Well, now the whole thing rests on you.
And I think the turning point for me, as terrible as it sounds, is I very clearly said, for Valentine's Day, I want us to go out and have a nice evening. And I left the rest to him. And he said, I'm not really big on Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
But if you want to, just tell me where you want to go.
Right.
And I kind of did no, I want you to make a decision and you to take charge.
Yes. So if behavior is a language, what is he saying?
He doesn't want it.
Right. And it's almost as though you need to give yourself permission to grieve. And on the back end of a divorce, on the back end of kids at home still, on the back end of feeling like you're going to be lonely forever, all those demons that come out screaming at you. This is a scary proposition. And people listening to this, don't read the comments here because you're going to have a bunch of goofballs lobbing grenades in here who don't live in your shoes. But the reality is the thought of not being with him is almost equally, if not more, terrifying than watching him pass away underneath you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea of loneliness, the idea of what is so wrong with me again after the last, right? You see what I'm saying? All those things are heavy and they're scary.
That is what runs through my brain constantly.
Okay, it's not true. It's a lie. Are you perfect? I can guarantee. I don't even know you. No, the answer is no. You're not. Right? But are you going to be perfect for somebody? Yeah. You're all going to have to work things out, of course.
I appreciate it.
What makes this? What scares you the most about this? Because here's the thing. I've gotten from the way you're communicating, you're very, very smart, and and you've been down a scary road before. Like you've been down the train wreck before, right?
Oh yeah.
And you see it. It's almost like I don't want to believe this is happening again, right?
Yeah, it's like I feel like you said that I already knew. I feel comfortable in my decision that like this is not like we're just not right for each other, and that's okay. And I feel okay. I'm sad.
There you go.
But I don't want to hurt my kids, and they like him.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to be disappointed because there's another. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Another failure.
It's not. It's not a failure. Relationships aren't pass fail. They're just not. And this will be hard on your kids because you probably thought through letting this guy into your life a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
And he is good. And I mean,
of course he is. He's great. He's probably great. He's probably a great person of character.
I had an 18-year-old that thought all middle-aged white men were the worst things in the world, and he healed that part of her.
Yeah.
So I don't take it lightly.
I don't think he healed that part of her. I think he gave her a picture that was counterfactual. They showed her a different picture of what was in her mind.
Mm-hmm.
And her relationship with her mom has been the healing force in her life. That's what I think.
I needed to hear that.
I think she had a limited set of facts like all 18-year-olds do. And all 18-year-olds know how all of the world works in all of its ways. And then you meet somebody that's different than you or that was supposed to be your enemy or you were supposed to hate. And then suddenly they're like, man, that guy's pretty great or she's pretty awesome. Or whoever they is. They don't want to destroy America. It's not what the news told me, right? But that ability to meet somebody, to welcome them, to change their mind, that comes from you. Have you sat down with your 18-year-old and talked this through?
Very briefly. And she told me that she would be sad. And then I kind of dropped it because I wasn't sure how she would react. And when she told me that, it was the like, well, I'm just going to have to suck it up because I'm not going to make my kid sad.
A great gift you could give your kid is to look her in the eye and say, I'm going to be real sad too. because that way she doesn't feel crazy from her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're the most important adult in her world, in her whole life. And your tears and your sadness and your grief give her permission to feel sad and grief. And your laughter and joy and willingness to go, I'm going to date somebody else. That gives her permission to get back up when life knocks her down.
I think that's really good advice.
How old are your other kids?
I have a 16-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Yeah, those will be harder.
Mm-hmm.
18-year-olds think they know everything. 16-year-olds are convinced they know everything. And 12-year-olds know basically nothing. Right?
Exactly.
And they're all going to have an opinion over what mom is doing.
Mm.
You've heard me say this on the show probably a lot, and I'll keep saying it. There's a reason we don't let 18-year-olds buy guns and bullets and beer. And there's a reason we don't let 16-year-olds vote or fly planes. I don't know. Maybe they're allowed to fly planes. I don't know. And there's a reason 12-year-olds can't do anything. Right? And that's because they lack wisdom. They lack understanding. They lack experience. They lack so many things. And so one of your kids will say, I can't believe you screwed this up too, Mom. One of those kids will say, I can't believe you're doing this to me. And you are going to have to repeat to yourself, I'm not hurting my kids. The greatest gift you can give your kids is a well mom. Because when you come home from being with this guy, you're a little bit down and you're a little bit slower and you're a little bit, whoa. And if your kids are like most kids, they absorb that and they try to solve that. They try to fix it.
My kids definitely are fixers.
That's right.
They're wired like me.
And that's not their job. Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. And with your 16-year-old and your 18-year-old, you can tell them that. You can tell them, hey, it's not your job to make mommy feel better. I'm just sad because I liked this guy, but we're just not right for each other.
That is something that I've learned from you. Instead of, I used to, like in my divorce, I hid it from my kids, how I felt. And my youngest was only 5 at that time. And my big kids now, I tell them, like, it's okay to be sad. And I tell my 12-year-old, it's okay to be sad. You don't have to cheer me up. You know, and that's something that I picked up from listening to your show all the time.
Well, the fact that you put it into practice, I mean, I'm just running my mouth on a podcast. You're the one actually going out and changing your life. And so I'm proud of you for that. That will be a gift you give to your kids that will pay dividends for the rest of their life. Because they're going to have experiences where they get really sad, where they get really scared, where they get really nervous, they get really frustrated, they get really happy. And when we tell them only a couple of those are okay, the other ones you need to hide, or the other ones mom and dad never had, so you must be nuts. Whew, what a gift you give them to teach them about the range of emotions that humans have. That's a great, great blessing. You still feel guilty about your first marriage?
A little bit. I feel like I failed. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I felt like I didn't meet the requirements because he stepped out a couple times and then he left me for someone else.
Yeah.
So it was the what need was I not meeting that he felt like that's what he had to do.
How long ago was your divorce?
2019.
Okay. I want you to write Kimberly of 2019 a letter. As though a woman walked into a coffee shop and sat down at your table and said, my husband, I just found out, has cheated on me again. What did I do wrong? And if somebody sat down today with you in a coffee shop and asked you that question, all the hair would stand up on the back of your neck and you'd be like, oh, sister, here we go. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to write that letter to Kimberly and let her go. Because 2019 Kimberly's still walking around trying to defend you, trying to fight for you, trying to make excuses for you. And I don't think 2019 Kimberly did anything wrong.
That's a hard one.
It is. Was she perfect? No. Could she have done stuff differently? Of course. But your husband sucked, right?
So 100%.
Yeah. Yes.
I realize that now.
So let's let Kimberly go. That's your homework assignment for today, is to let Kimberly go. And then get with a couple of girlfriends that you trust and sit down and be honest and open about maybe my relationship with this guy. Good guy, great guy, but just not the guy for me. Maybe it's done. Maybe it's over. And we're going to be adults about it. We're going to gently land the plane. There's not going to be a lot of drama, but there's going to be tears. There's going to be sadness. There's going to be some direct conversations with my kids. Whew. I didn't fail. I'm not a loser. Just good guy. And I'm a great woman. And it wasn't for us. And that's okay. That's okay. Hard season, Kimberly. I'm proud of you for continuing to go through it. Do not go through it by yourself. Don't go through it by yourself. Call anytime, my friend.